Ho! Looks like we're live. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to some of you have been here before to Mike's Magic Auto Detailing and Paint Enhancement here in sunny but a little bit chilly Sharpsburg, Georgia. I'll show you. I'll prove it to you. There you go. Alrighty then. Yep, that's this car right here. Look at that. Look at that. This is a refrigerator magnet business card. Hey, Mr. Kelly, I'm going to try to wave at you. I don't know if I can. But if you want one of these refrigerator magnets, absolutely free, just free, period. You know, drop me a PM with your address, mailing address, and I'll send you one. No problemo, no problemo. Get that out of the way. That weather's not bad out there. Like I say, it's just a little bit chilly. And what I was, Mike. Oh, my car, after getting it all cleaned up, I don't know, several days ago, you know, that's about all I could do because of my cataract surgery. And the other eye's coming up Tuesday, and I had to go take care of one of my friends who also had her first eye done, and had to drop this thing in the rain a couple days, sat out. You can see all the pollen that has lit on it, and some water spotting where the pollen landed and then the water and the pollen mixed together. Made a mess, man. Looks like somebody slung it all over my car. I will clean the car up totally later, Mike, but I'm not going to get too excited about it at the moment because my yard guy is coming in a little while to cut my grass, and Lord knows what kind of stuff he's going to stir up. But what I wanted to go over today and try to show you guys was, and let me pick this camera up here. I think you can see this is a spot right here that I worked on just a few minutes ago. I had pollen on it just like up there, and it was covered in water spots. And I'm going to show you the method. It's a chemical method of removing those water spots which had begun to bond to my coatings. Yes, I have a titanium coating on here, which is a sacrificial layer to protect my clear coat, which is underneath the coatings. But before I started on it, it looked like this. And you can see the pollen and the water spots. It is not likely, because this one had to sit outside in the sunlight for a day or so, and that causes them to bond rather quickly to your coat, your wax, or your clear coat if that's all you have. And it is not likely that washing your car or anything of that nature is going to remove too many of those. And you want to be careful, or fairly careful, removing that pollen, because as we've talked about before in the pollen removal video, that stuff will scratch your surface because they're just like little barbs, and mixed in with the water like they have been the last day or two from splash up from the roadway, because I had to go to a couple stores and blah, 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 blah. Drove it to the hospital to take her there for her surgery. I got splash up, I got rainwater, and it is turning acidic, which means it will bond, that pollen will bond even quicker to my coatings, or in some of y'all's cases, your clear coat, wax, whatever your condition of your paint is. But I was just going to show you a couple of different methods if I can get this thing sat down here. And we'll work on this little area right here. Okay, guys? And the very first thing I'm going to do, as always, is try the least aggressive method first, which in my case here today is going to be I'm going to try a little rinseless wash on there. This is O&R. It's mixed up in my little cordless sprayer. And I've got a high quality microfiber towel. You can't buy these around town. And I'm just going to spray a little rinseless wash on there and see if that will remove the spotting. It will probably remove most of the pollen and some of the road film, although no wash like O&R or your maintenance soaps, pH balanced or pH neutral soaps, which is what you normally buy around town, are not going to remove it. It's just not. The more stubborn stuff. But what we'll do is we'll try this rinseless wash first with this mitt, or not mitt, I'm using a towel today. And it'll also get the pollen out of the way. It'll remove that. But I don't know if you guys can see or not, but I will grab my big drying towel and dry this off so you guys can see what we're left with. And then you notice I'm just putting just enough pressure on here just to come and keep the towel in contact with the paint. That towel right there, folks, will absorb almost 2 gallons of water. But you can see that did a pretty fair job. But if you look closely, you will see, like right there, there is a ringlet, and you'll see that quite often from a water spot. One right there. There's a few over. So what I'm going to do is get just a little bit more aggressive. A little bit more aggressive, Mike. And I'm going to go to a stronger chemical than the rinseless wash. And if you'll notice, I always shake my bottles. This is mixed up in this bottle, and this is a Marilex Mini 2000 spray bottle with a chemical resistant nozzle on it, because in here is a very strong chemical. Today what I have mixed up, instead of using Iron X or one of those high priced products, this is Meguiar's Wheel Brightener, diluted 4-to-1 or thereabouts with distilled water. Now today, after I get finished using this bottle, what I will do is remove the nozzle. I'll spray some of my O&R through it, which will neutralize that acid. And somebody else is watching. Elaine Forsyth Davis. Hey, Miss Elaine. See if I can wave at you. Alrighty then. But it will neutralize the acid that's in that nozzle and extend the life of the nozzles dramatically. If you ever use these really strong chemicals to these spray nozzles, if you don't clean them out afterwards, of course they're not real expensive, but they will not last very long. So all I'm going to simply do, make sure it's shaken up. I'm going to spray that on there. Let it dwell for just a minute. Give it a chance to do its job. Yeah, some people just get too big a hurry. They want instant results. And then, I'm going to get over here, spread some on those water spots that we looked at as well. Mop up a mess down here where it's dripping down. But then I'm just going to simply take a clean edge on this towel so that I'm not wiping dirt across the panel of the paint. And I'm going to gently rub this chemical, or as some guys in my industry say, massage it onto or into the paint. Gently, 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 folks. Just enough pressure to keep it in contact with the metal. And I can see already it is removing most of what that O&R would not remove. Hey, Mr. Lloyd, my neighbor Lloyd. All right then. Let me see here. Push buttons. I might need to stop doing that. But you can see it's kind of leaving a haze there. All right. How do you get rid of that, you say? Well, I'll fold this other plush towel back over to a clean side, and I will spray the O&R on it again, which will neutralize that acid. I know some people are going, Mike, you spraying acid on your car? Are you nuts? Yeah, maybe. But you know what, folks? When you buy this stuff, it comes in a plastic bottle. It's not acid like battery acid. It's just very, very strong. But I'm going to go back, wipe this down, remove any traces of that Meguiar's wheel brightener that might be here, because you don't want to let that stuff dry on your paint, which makes using it outside in direct sunlight kind of risky, because you don't want to let it dry. You talk about some paint spotting. And I'll grab my drying towel again. Oh, there's a piece of my hair. My hair's still coming out. And we'll dry this area off like we did that other area. And then I'll bring you guys back in and try to show you the results here. Now sometimes this process, which is probably your second most aggressive method of removing water spots, won't get them all. And after that, you're stuck with buffing them off, which is not a big deal to me. I left a few streaks on there, but that's okay, that's okay. And you can see now, remember those water spots that were there, over there, all up in there? All gone, folks. There you have it, there you have it. A good way of getting rid of water spotting on your vehicle. I mean, for example, if your car's in a parking lot or even in your driveway or whatever, and it accidentally gets sprayed, let's say by a sprinkler system, or you stop by your local car wash, even if it's one of those wand car washes, and you don't have time or you don't have the stuff with you to dry it off after it's rinsed, then when you get home you could try either of these methods. If it's dry and it's hours and hours when you get home, it's dry, you've had to leave it out in the sun or whatever, then you can try the O&R method first. If that doesn't work, then you can graduate to the chemical method of the wheel brightener. There's other products that you can also use for that. That just happens to be what I use because I was taught that that will work, and it does. I get a fair amount of people stop by and their car's just covered up with water spots, and you know, they just want the water spots off before they do any damage to their coatings, wax, whatever. Now, this may have removed some of my sealant. I doubt if it got down to the coating. It will not remove the coating that's on here, the titanium coating, but it might very well remove the sealant, which is just a matter of a minute or two to reapply it. And you know, when I get done with the whole car, I'll probably go around and we're going to take a look and see the water behavior here. This is just a bottle of distilled water that I keep in this little bottle just for stuff like this, and we're going to take a look. Look at that, folks. Running right off. You know, now, as with my normal practices, if when I had gotten home or my first opportunity, I had taken my dryer and dried the car off before I had to let it sit outside, all that, then I would not have had such a big mess as I do now. But, you know, on a car you drive on a regular basis, I'm just drying this distilled water off, folks. That's all I'm doing. And maybe just trying to get rid of those few little streaks I left on there. But, you know, in a car you drive every day or on a regular basis, or truck or vehicle, you're going to have this kind of stuff. You know, you cannot keep a daily driver in showroom condition. But you can take steps like these to vastly extend the life of your paint, which this is much thicker paint than what you would normally see on a vehicle, because this is an aftermarket paint job. Even though it's Maaco, it's much thicker than the factory paint job. In the last few years, with the advances, they've gotten it down where the clear coat is so thin on these things, 2 to 4 mils, something like that. The paint on this one is probably 8. To give you an idea, 2 to 3 mils of paint is probably not quite as thick as that cellophane wrapper that comes on a pack of cigarettes, to give you some idea, or about the thickness of a yellow post-it note, or a blue one or a red one for that matter. I think they're pink. They come in all different kind of colors. But folks, that's one method I wanted to show you folks right quick of chemically removing water spotting. You know, even if you can't rinse it off with O&R or distilled water after you apply that wheel brightener, even though it's diluted down, you know, use your hose. Rinse it off with that, but then be sure and dry it, or you'll end up with some more water spotting. But you want to do something to neutralize that wheel brightener after you put it on your paint. All right, that's it. I just thought some of you might be curious about that sort of thing and how to go about it if the water spotting worries you, bothers you. Well, it should, but some people it don't. They don't care, and that's all right too. That's all right too. But, you know, vehicles that spend their off time indoors are going to be better off because they don't have to deal with the UV rays and the sunlight and the hot temperatures on a regular basis. Hey, you know, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. Make a comment. You know, like, tag, share, follow, all that stuff. They say that all that stuff helps me out, and it helps reach out to other people who may not have seen it live, but who may want to see future live videos or other videos that I post. And that's probably going to be all for today, because like I said, I'm not going to get too deep into it until, yeah, Lloyd, you know who's coming to cut my grass, right, Lloyd? Make a comment, Lloyd. Don't just sit there. So no telling what he's going to stir up. So I don't want to get it all clean and then him come cut the grass and it end up covered up with stuff. Even with the door down, some of that stuff manages to work its way into the garage here because it's not that tightly sealed. So I'll wait till he's done. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Even if I have to wait till tomorrow, it's not a huge thing to me. I'll rinseless wash this whole car down, go back, chemically remove whatever water spotting might be on there, and then I will probably reapply that titanium sealant. But since I'm putting it over the top of the titanium coating and a lot of it may still remain on there, you can cut it 50-50, a 50-50 dilution rate as an overcoat, which saves a bunch of money. You could still put it on full strength, but full strength is designed to work as a standalone project. So it's not full strength on my car now, but it did a heck of a job of protecting and preserving that titanium coating, which is just absolutely amazing, people. I'm telling you. I used some high quality ceramic coating on this car before, and that was extremely good stuff. But this titanium coating, the ceramic wasn't even close to this. And this is a 9-year coating that I have on this vehicle. It properly maintained, it will last up to 9 years in the right environment. If your car lives outside and you don't get to wash it as often as you would like, it may not last 9 years, but it's still going to last years and years and years. Hey, Miss Brandy, Oh, Miss Brandy, you got here just as I'm getting ready to sign off. But hey, you can go back in a few minutes, I guess, and watch the other part of this video. We're talking about chemically removing water spots. So, anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.